Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. In this episode, we are reviewing The Idol, Episode 4, now out on Max, with our new hit single. So, Akram, what did you think of this episode?
It was a pretty good episode, way better than the last episode. I think everyone could agree on that. At least we get more, I want to say industry insights, but I like how they showed the making of the music. Finally, that's what I've been expecting all this time. And I was like, it got to the point where it's just like really personal and deep in the thoughts. So I like the combo. It's like how to make the music, but also blending that with the actual complex thoughts that is in everyone's like minds. It's a pretty good episode nonetheless, and long, thankfully, as well. Let me get your thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was shocking. Really electrifying episode.
Yes, it was.
No, it was a really good episode. Yeah, like you said, it was more art form. They showed like the process of, you know, the music industry. Mike Dean makes an appearance in this episode. I thought it was really cool. It's very meta. You know, it's like showing like the big, you know, industry names. And we see Jocelyn, she's in like a studio recording, but also we see a bit of Chloe too. You know, she's showing off her voice chops. I thought that was so cool, that little scene with Destiny, and Destiny's kind of like, even though she's not her manager, she's giving her like pro tips and like, you know, coaching her a little bit, letting her find her voice, because she's very young too. We found out she's actually like 17
because she made a mistake. She said 18, you know.
So that you know says what it says about Tedros, right? He's very manipulative, very creepy. And it feels like Tedros also in this episode was kind of losing his grip on Jocelyn a little bit, and we'll talk more about that. And I think the other standout, of course, was Xander. So we see like there's a lot more in depth behind his history with, you know, Jocelyn. There was a lot of toxicity between his mother and him. She outed him. And she also made him sign a contract that he couldn't sing, right? So it prevented him from having a career, and he resented her for it. And Jocelyn seems like she was like kind of in on it too. And now Tedros is like kind of like, you know, suspicious about Jocelyn now because of what Xander revealed. But what were your thoughts on that scene?
That was a very intense scene. The beginning was weird. I really thought that Tedros was going to do something sexual with Xander, because the whole gay thing, I didn't let that slip. I kept on thinking about that. But yeah, that scene was super intense. I did see in the beginning, I forgot if they did that for the other episodes, but I did see they did like a warning, or like a trigger warning or some shit like that. And yeah, I must say it's pretty intense. I didn't mention this in the last episode, but I really feel like Lily-Rose Depp gets a lot of flack for being, like, people say Nepo baby and this and that, and they're saying she can't act. They just wanted a beautiful face and stuff. But the thing is, I think she has everything down pat. I think she could act. I think she could sing. And of course, she's beautiful. So I think a lot more people should give her credit, because especially in this episode, she was like really reserved, but at the same time too, I don't know, something about her seemed very strong and wanted to have this sort of revenge. Like she enjoyed Xander getting shocked, because that's what happened. So all in all, I think every performance in this episode was wonderful. It's probably the best episode out of the whole season. We'll see with episode 5. That scene alone, I think, will stand out. It'll be really memorable because it's pure intensity. And I love shows when it's like Succession, the series finale, when it's just like super raw and truthful. And believe it or not, I really dig The Weeknd. Like, I'm not going to lie. I know there's a lot of controversial stuff, whatever. But I really think that he's a pretty good actor, especially in this episode. I really enjoyed how he had like different dichotomies, and he was just like really fun, like he laughs at things and stuff. At the same time, too, he's like really intense. So all in all, and we also see Isaac. I feel like Isaac and Xander can have eventually like some moment where they could really connect, because it seems like that, because Isaac later on takes care of Xander. Like Xander is like completely shocked. And I think actually Xander now is a part of the cult, because he has like some weird thing. Like afterwards, he's like, seems like he's doing stuff for Tedros. But anyways, let me get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I was thinking, well, maybe now he's kind of scared of what Tedros is capable of. So maybe he doesn't, you know, well, then again, like at the party scene, he could have left too, right? And there was a weird moment too, where, so in this episode, we also see Diane. She had a record deal with Nicki, and she was going to take over Jocelyn's song World Class Singer. And she wanted to get permission from Jocelyn. And we also found out from Chloe that Diane and Tedros had like some history together. Like I think she was like his ex or something. So Jocelyn felt some type of way. So she invited her own ex, Rob, who was like an actor or some shit, over, and they started having sex and shit. And then at the end, I was like wondering what this device was. I was like, Xander wanted to get a photo of like him and this girl. So I was thinking maybe like, is it for Tedros? Like, did Tedros ask him to do, like, maybe he wants to get some dirt on Rob or some shit? Because that seems like something Tedros to do. What would you think about it?
I think it's blackmail. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if Tedros was listening in and Rob was saying like he's a part of the superhero movie now and he has a press tour or whatever. I'm sure these pictures would just leak ahead of time and watch. They're going to say that this girl is underage and like he was with an underage girl, and that's how they get him, and he's going to completely be canceled. So I think, I mean, and it's also weird though. I felt like Jocelyn was really weird in this episode because, yeah, Tedros does like a lot of shitty things and he's sleeping with everybody. I don't know. It's kind of hypocritical, or I don't know. It's like really weird. It's like a revenge type of sex thing. And she said to Rob, like, he said, like, I thought you think whatever monogamous relationships are corny or something like that. And then she cheats on Tedros. But if she thinks that, why is she mad that Tedros slept with other people? I think it's really just, it comes down to, of course, everyone's going to say in the comments too, it's that the fact that Tedros is using Diane as another person to get in the industry, that makes a lot of sense. So it's all about business. And so that's why I think Rob, that's how you attack him, as like through the business. Like he has this brilliant opportunity and I'm going to go for him and he's going to be screwed forever. That's how Tedros gets people. But that could also take away from the physical threat, because I thought Tedros was the type of person that can actually murder people, but he just like is a murderer of careers. So if he's a murderer of careers, perhaps because now he's mad at Jocelyn, maybe he's gonna do something to Jocelyn as a revenge. Anyway, he has Diane. That's what I think will happen in episode 5, maybe. But Jocelyn is the main character and she's been through a lot of shit, so they're probably gonna do something cliche where she rise up from the ashes and becomes the Phoenix. We see in the next episode she's wearing like a beautiful dress, performing in a concert. Contrary to her very like sexual and risque type of outfits you see mostly, this time it was like a really elegant dress. So I wonder if there's a change completely.
Well, she even said too, like when she was doing like her fan message, she said like there's a new Jocelyn coming too. So she's kind of like reinventing herself. And like when she was with Nikki, she kind of had that very sexualized demeanor. Even when they were doing like the photo shoot and she had like her breasts out and shit. So maybe now she's taking, her trauma and kind of reinventing herself and her image. I still wonder if they're gonna do the face thing as her cover out. I'm wondering if like she's gonna like use that somehow, but I don't think so.
No.
I feel like this, like with the whole Rob thing too, it was kind of like a power dynamic switch, because it seems like now Tedros is becoming like more like unstable or like very like almost erratic.
Yes.
So I feel like
we didn't even talk about the actual truth from Tedros.
That his real name.
I forgot, his name was like Marquez de Facundo something, I forgot. But no, his past, that he was like some sort of pimp or something.
Yeah, that was so fucked.
And he was abusive.
What he did. But that's the thing. It's like, I feel like Tedros himself, when he's on screen, like, yeah, he does some dumb shit and some crazy shit, but I feel like Destiny made him seem like worse than he actually is. So maybe he's like losing his grip on stuff. But yeah, that was fucked. So apparently like Tedros, yeah, his real name is like Mauricio Jackson or some shit. And he like he kidnapped his ex-girlfriend and like tortured her, and that's probably why he has like this big torture porn fetish, right? And now I don't know if Jocelyn, really like, well, she believes him because she was talking to Destiny and she's like, oh yeah, it was like he did it in self-defense, right? I'm like, nobody, like, you can't choke somebody And then when you get hit, say it was self-defense because you enabled the fight. So I'm like, what?
You choke people but walk backwards, and there you go.
Okay. Yeah. I'll keep that in mind for my lawyer.
Yes.
But yeah, that was really fucked. And then, you know, after the Chloe thing, I'm like, yeah, now he's going off the deep end. This guy is like a lowlife, basically. But now I feel like perhaps Jocelyn is smarter than she seems. Because after that Xander reveal, I'm like, maybe she's like trying to pull a switcheroo. And she's like using TH because she said her song in this episode was like, she doesn't want to do things alone. She wants to make choices with him. So maybe she's like using him for the ride.
Yeah.
Right. Until his usefulness, you know, surpasses. Right. And then she could throw shit on him. Right.
I think to be honest with you, I don't want to believe that because I feel like that's not what I perceived in the other episodes, but I think you're spot on because even Lily-Rose Depp said that, you know, Jocelyn's a lot smarter than she appears, which, you know, you can tell in certain instances, but it seems like she's doing some switcheroo. And it seems like this episode was the prelude to that, and the next episode is full boss bitch or something, you know?
She's going to make a deal with Mattson.
And Mattson?
Then Tedros is going to be like fucked out of the industry.
Now I know I heard it all.
She's the new Wamsgans.
Yeah, Shiv. That's our revenge. Shiv gets the boot, and Jocelyn is like the new wife.
It's the HBO cinematic universe.
Yes. There you go. I'm down for that. All right.
Well, yeah, overall, great episode. I just love the character relationships in this episode. They were a lot more tasteful than the other episodes. And I love, like we said, like the inclusion, like the music. And I think that's what really makes it pop. Because I'm like, the whole first 2 episodes, I was like, well, okay, we had like a few hits here and there, but it was like the same song. So I was like, I want to hear like other, you know, songs or like the music process. Because it's about, you know, making music. So I was like, why didn't they include that? But yeah, they did it in this episode really well. And yeah, so apparently the last episode is the finale. And it looks like Jocelyn is going on her world tour to finally sell her tickets. But she also has to talk to her manager or that agent guy. So what do you expect we'll see for the finale?
Yeah, I think this finale is going to be... I wouldn't say it probably won't be as intense as this episode where they could live and breathe in that moment. I think a lot of things are going to be moving. There's a lot of moving pieces. You know, we have to hear more from Eli Roth's character, Andrew. So probably he's now going to actually finally get to speak to Jocelyn, and, you know, they will discuss the profits from, you know, her new album and if he likes it or not. I think Diane probably... If there were a season 2, probably it'll be a problem between Diane and Jocelyn. It's like Diane's outshining Jocelyn, and that'll be a thing. So I wonder if like the show gets canceled, maybe there will be a little tease to that, like some jealousy, because I can't really imagine Tedros doing his same bullshit like with Jocelyn, all that. Because then it's like, oh, Jocelyn, you're an idiot. Then like, right. You know, you flip the page and all of a sudden now you're still on the same page. That's like weird. Right. But I think Xander for sure is lost now. I think he's a part of the cult. And yeah, I just really think it'll end in like a beautiful concert and on a good note, but probably also a tease to like this feud between Jocelyn and Diane for season 2. That's my thought.
Now HBO hasn't said that they're going to do a season 2, but I know I think the viewership's been pretty good. A lot of people are saying that maybe it gets canceled. I don't know. But so far it's starting to like intrigue me a little bit. Like I wouldn't mind seeing a season 2, to be honest with you. Now that we've gotten like all the bullshit and the sexual shit out the way, we can like start focusing on the story and like her working up to like becoming an idol, right? That's what I really want to see. So do you think perhaps we'll see like a green light for our next season?
That's a good, I you know, maybe people spoke too soon, perhaps. But again, you have to sell someone on the very first episode, right? So if the viewership, it's good. That's what counts as the money. But Netflix has this model where the viewership, maybe the show's really great, but they still cut it. This show, I think perhaps like it's 24% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think HBO, they take themselves pretty seriously. And I really feel like they don't want to have a bad show under their belt. I mean, they have Euphoria. That's really iconic to bring people back. I don't think they're in for niche type of shows for like small communities. Even if the numbers are good at first, I don't know if you could build a community around it. So,
well, even the controversy surrounding it is going to add to that factor of like, should like, it's like, should we do it? It's like, could we do it? Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. And that'll be problematic with the Weeknd because that, I think he wrote the show or it was his idea originally. You know, and he knows like people in the industry too to make it more authentic. But anyway, in the beginning, it wasn't super authentic towards the industry. Well, the cult like aspect, sure, but the actual making of the music, we just finally got to see that, and I think that's the brunt of it. It's hard to say, really. It's hard to say. I mean, I have a deep suspicion that the show will be canceled. I've been feeling like that since I think the very beginning. I think a lot of people have thought like that too, but it is intriguing me. It's kind of like this guilty pleasure to watch the show.
Yeah,
that's how it feels, you know.
I feel like a freak every time I watch.
Just a freak, yeah. You're like a Isaac dancing.
Or maybe other people feel different. Maybe they're like Jocelyn when they watch it. They just put a blindfold.
You just hear all these moanings across America. It's like really weird. Right? Oh my gosh, that's the last we need.
I really want them to like put out an album though. If they
I think so,
for this, guys, I love shows that like find a way to like implement like a soundtrack.
Sure.
And I think this is a really good way to do that. It's like you're almost like living the show, like listening to it at the same time.
Yeah.
And I would love, if they did a season 2, I love the Weeknd to get like other, singers and stars involved, right? Because they already had Troye Sivan, all these other great performers on Mike Dean. So yeah, it'd be really cool. It'd be very meta, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that would be really cool. And plenty of familiar faces I think will be really exciting and bring people to the episodes. It's not like, hopefully they don't do something like with The Mandalorian, they brought in Lizzo or something and it completely backfire. Although I thought she was like fine, but I don't know, we will see. What would you rate this episode?
This is like one of the top tier episodes for me. I'd probably give this I'd probably get a 9 out of 10 for me. How about you?
Sure, yeah, I would give it a 9 out of 10. This show never gets, I think, a solid 10 out of 10. It's really hard. It has to be like super perfect, as you always say. So for sure, I think they brought everything home and the pacing was pretty good. And then the inclusion of the music, also the drama, it was really intense. There were so many things that happened in this episode and I'm glad it was 1 hour long, So I think it warrants a 9 out of 10. But
for sure. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for sticking around for this review for episode 4. Check out our episodes 1 to 3 reviews if you haven't already. We have one more episode left for The Idol. So we'll probably, talk more, probably a season review as well. So yeah, I can't wait. But yeah, check out our other content, our other playlists. We do plenty of reviews, guys. We're so busy this month, but we love you. We love making content for you guys. So let us know how we're doing. Leave a like, sub, anything helps the channel. But until then, thanks for lunch with us.
See you guys.